This is a video on, I forget the, shoot, I forget the homework. This is homework 7, number, it's one that Connor asked for in class. I can't remember which number it is though. It is in homework 7. So it's a partial fraction one because of the bottom is factorable, but we notice the top has a higher power, so we begin by dividing the bottom into the top using long division. And since there's 3 terms here, we go over 3 terms on the thing we're dividing into. And we basically just look at the first 2 terms. Since this is 10x cubed and that's x squared, we know we'd have to multiply this by 10x to get that. Because 10x times x squared is 10x cubed. And since we picked 10x, though, we got to multiply 10x by everything. So 10x times negative x would be negative 10x squared. And 10x times negative 6 would be negative 60x. And then the next step is to subtract all that stuff that I just created. And notice that 10x cubed minus 10x cubed is 0. That's the whole reason we do this, is to get rid of that first term. But then 0x squared minus a negative 10x squared would be positive 10x squared. And negative 40x plus 60x would be plus 20x. And we bring the minus 100 down because we always want to have 3 terms down here because we have 3 terms up here. And then we begin the process over again. So we say what times x squared equals 10x squared? That of course would be plus 10. So 10 times 10x squared is 10x squared. 10 times negative x is negative 10x. And 10 times negative 6 is negative 60. And then once again we're going to subtract all that stuff. 10x squared minus 10x squared is 0. 20x minus a negative 10x would be 30x. And negative 100x plus 60 essentially would be negative 40. Right. So now what we've got is this integral has been turned into, from 0 to 1, of 10x, my 10 keeps looking like a 16, 10x plus 10, then we take the remainder, the 30x minus 40, and put that over the thing I divided with. Okay, so that's my new integral. And the reason why this is beneficial is because I can integrate 10x. So that's going to be 5x squared plus 10x evaluated from 0 to 1. And then but then I'm going to still have this thing over here, the integral of 30x minus 40 over x squared minus x minus 6 dx. I'm going to go ahead and finish this real quick. That would be 5 plus 10 minus 0. Right, so really what I'm going to have is a 15 here, plus that. So then the way I'm going to handle this, of course, is I'm going to use partial fractions. So I have 30x minus 40 over, I'm going to factor that, x and x. And that would be what? Minus 3 and plus 2. Okay, and that would be equal to a over x minus 3 plus b over x plus 2. That's the way we break that apart, and then we multiply everything by the common denominator, and we get 30x minus 40 is equal to a times x plus 2 plus b times x minus 3. And in this case, it might be easier to do the case thing, unless you like the other way. You can see that it's going to be a plus b equals 30, and 2a minus 3b is negative 40. Or you can just put in a negative 2, so you'd say let x equal negative 2 for a second. And if x is equal to negative 2, we get, yeah, I think that's harder, or that's more work at least. I'm going to do it the other way. So we have 30x minus 40 is equal to ax plus 2a plus bx minus 3b. So that tells me if I look at 30x and ax and bx, that tells me that 30 has to be equal to a plus b. And if I look at what's left, that means that negative 40 has to be equal to 2a minus 3b. And if we multiply the top one by 3, if we want to use elimination, we get 90 is equal to 3a plus 3b. Then bring the other one as is. Negative 40 is equal to 2a minus 3b. Add them together and we get 50 is equal to 5a, period. Divide both sides by 5 and I get 10 is equal to a. So that means that 20 is equal to b. Because of this little, I can tell that real quick by looking at that. So now we can run back over here, and this integral is now going to become, oh, this is still from 0 to 1. This integral is going to be from 0 to 1 of, what did I say it was? 10 and 20. So that would be 10 over x minus 3 plus 20 over x plus 2 dx. Okay, almost there. So I have 15 plus, that's going to just be 10 times the natural log of x minus 3. And that's going to be 20 times the natural log of x plus 2. And all that's evaluated from 0 to 1. So I have 15 plus, excuse me, 15 plus, that's going to be 10 times the natural log of, if I put a 1 in there, that would be negative 2, but I have the absolute value, so it'd just be 2, plus 20 times the natural log of, if I put a 1 in there, that'd be 3. And then I'm going to subtract from that 10 times the natural log of 3, because 0 minus 3 is negative 3, absolute value is 3, and subtract from that 20 times the natural log of 2. I throw all that into my calculator, or I could just type it in like that into WebWork, but that should be the correct answer for that. All right, there you go. Have a great weekend.